चैंपियंस लीग 2023-24 अब अपने राउंड ऑफ 16 स्टेज में पहुंच गया है और पहले लेग के कुछ मुकाबले भी खेले जा चुके हैं और इस लेग के बाकी बचे 4 मुकाबले 21 और 22 को खेले जाएंगे, जहां बार्सिलोना, आर्सेनल, इंटर मिलान और एटलेटिको की टीमें अपने अपने मुकाबले खेलेंगी। राउंड ऑफ 16 का पहला मुकाबला कोपेनहेगन और मैनचेस्टर सिटी के बीच खेला गया, जहां सिटी ने फाइनल विसल तक मुकाबला 3-1 से अपने नाम कर लिया और वहीं दूसरे मुकाबले में रियल मैड्रिड ने जीत हासिल की। तीसरे मुकाबले में पीएसजी ने रियल सोसाइडेड को 2-0 से हराकर बाजी अपने नाम कर ली। वहीं चौथे मुकाबले में लाजियो ने बायर्न म्यूनिख को एक करारी हार दे दी और मुकाबला अपने नाम कर लिया। हालांकि बायर्न म्यूनिख की टीम के लिए पिछले कुछ मुकाबले ठीक नहीं रहे हैं। हाल ही में बायर्न म्यूनिख को बायर लेवरक्यूजन ने पिछले शनिवार को बुंडेसलीगा में एक करारी हार दी, जहां से बायर्न म्यूनिख के लिए मुश्किलें कम होने का नाम नहीं ले रही हैं। चैंपियंस लीग के राउंड ऑफ 16 से पहले हमने मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड के पूर्व खिलाड़ी मार्क सीग्रेव से बात की, जिन्होंने लिवरपूल के लिए भी खेला है। मार्क ने बातचीत में सभी टीमों के बारे में अपनी राय दी, जहां उन्होंने सिटी के बारे में बात करते हुए कहा कि केविन डी ब्रुयना और हालैंड की वापसी के बाद सिटी काफी मजबूत हो गई है। वहीं बायर्न म्यूनिख के बारे में भी मार्क ने अपनी राय रखी। आगे आप सुनिए मार्क सीग्रेव्स ने अपनी बातचीत में और क्या-क्या कहा।
I'll just request you to put some light on Man City, the comeback of Kevin De Bruyne, and now Haaland is also back on the ground. So, how do you see Man City having the first game in the round of 16 with Copenhagen?
Well, it's the easiest tie of all the ties. So, yes, I'm expecting them to go through. Having De Bruyne back and obviously Haaland back, who scored a couple at the weekend, business as usual for him. Yeah, I think it's brilliant for Manchester City. They need their best players. It hasn't been a perfect season for them in the Premier League, but now all of a sudden they're finding themselves, I think, the top of the league or just one off the league, off the top. So yeah, these guys coming back after lengthy injuries, especially De Bruyne, then it's absolutely fantastic for them. And yes, they are the favourites because, you know, albeit there's an awful lot of big names still in the round of 16. Manchester City, in my opinion, are very much the favourites to retain it. But let's see, because as I say, in the Premier League, it hasn't been all plain and easy for them. But we do know one thing about Man City: the second part of the season is always the best for them, and they can go on runs. And I think they only have to. Sorry, I think they only have to have you know, a good couple of nights, if you like, to get through to the final and see where it takes them.
Just a follow-up question to that. How do you see Phil Foden on the 19 minutes field, because he has been so impressing in Premier League?
Well, he's been playing, hasn't he? He's been starting. It's, you know, it hasn't been the other players. He's been a regular in this team, and he's performed to a level that Pep Guardiola has always said that what he could achieve. You know, I remember watching him here in India in the Under-17 World Cup. He was fantastic then, and he's grown slowly. You know, it's been an organic rise for him because Pep's popped him in, popped him out, and now all of a sudden he's becoming, and you know, world class is bandied about far too easy, but he's becoming one of these into that bracket of, you know, a world-class footballer, because when I watch him play, it's very, very hard to defend against. He gets himself into lovely pockets of space where he can receive the ball, and when he does receive that ball, he does everything what a defender doesn't want. He gets at them and he makes them commit, and he's scoring goals and he's also assisting. So he's in there on merit, and he's an absolutely fantastic player, and he'll be one of the focal points for Man City going forward. Well, I mean, I'm always for continuity, and trying to bring things through the system, or players or coaches or whatever it is. But Barcelona being such a huge club and what it's had to go through in the last few years financially and whatnot, I think they do need a big name. Not only for Barcelona, but they need a big name to bring in the top quality players. Now, I'm not sure what the financial situation is now, whether they can go and get the Mbappes, if you like, of this world. But it's going to be it's a process, isn't it? You know, every club goes through this, and Barcelona going through it. Xavi's obviously done as much as he can, you know, and it's interesting to listen to him when he's talking about the pressure that not only the press put on them, but the club itself put on their managers. And maybe they need to have a look at that and address that. But there are a few managers out of work right now. Obviously Mourinho, and that ilk, and maybe one of maybe Bayern Munich's manager will be if they don't get a good result in midweek. So yeah, there are a lot of managers out there, sorry, that could go there. But you know, it's interesting when I've been in the game in England in the Premier League, and I've watched managers come in fresh faced and eager, and you know, all wanting to give of their best, and then the pressure of whatever team you're at to deliver is phenomenal, and none more so than obviously Barcelona, because that's the reasons why he said he's going to leave, because he can't deal with that consistent pressure, not only from outside of the club but from within.
I just want you to say something on Bayern, because we saw what happened on the last weekend against Leverkusen, because they were so good on the field, and Bayern they literally outplayed Bayern. How do you see Bayern in the round of 16?
They were outplayed. They were outcoached as well. From Xabi Alonso did the trick on Tuchel. I've watched the Bundesliga. Obviously, we show it with Sony, and I love watching the game. But Bayern Munich haven't been anywhere near the Bayern Munich I know of years gone by. This has been a really tough season for them. I mean, forget about the Champions League group stages. You know, that's neither here nor there. But you know, they've topped that group. But I've seen them play, and I know they brought in Kane, who's a great player, 100 million. He's scoring his goals, but the squad, in the depth of the squad, is not great for me. And when I look at what they brought in the winter transfer window, you know, is Bowie any better than what they've got? They've let Stanisic go out on loan to Leverkusen, who scored a goal against them at the weekend. They bring in Bowie as a right back and play him left back. They bring in Eric Dyer, who can't get a game at Tottenham. So how is that going to make Bayern Munich any better? Yes, it's a big night for Bayern Munich. That performance against Bayer Leverkusen was.
तो ये थी मार्क सीग्रेव्स की आवाज, जहां आपने उनकी राय सुनी। अब इस पर आपका क्या मानना है, इसके बारे में हमें कमेंट सेक्शन में जरूर बताइएगा। और लेग 1 के बाकी मैचेस के प्रेडिक्शन भी आप हमें कमेंट सेक्शन में बता सकते हैं। अगर आपको वीडियो पसंद आई हो तो इसे लाइक करिएगा, शेयर करिएगा, और स्पोर्ट्स से जुड़ी तमाम खबरों के लिए सब्सक्राइब करिएगा हमारे चैनल स्पोर्ट्स लाइव एबीपी लाइव को।